Good morning all, welcome back. Right, I thought I'd make a start on sorting all these tiles out. The problem I have, I've got lots and lots of thick concrete on them. These tiles, they're called encaustic tiles. Originally they would have been made of clay and then fired in an oven, but I think it was somewhere around mid 19th century, I think, cement came along and they started making them out of cement, and of course that doesn't need firing in an oven. Excuse me. So the problem is they used to stick them down with cement based concrete, so yeah, which is a little bit of an issue but not a massive one. I don't have to remove all this from the bottom, as long as I've got clean edges. And the reason is these are going in the hearth in the tower room. For anybody new to the channel who hasn't seen recent vlogs, now that hearth is quite deep. We've removed a lot of bricks and rubble out of there, so I could actually lay them on another bed of concrete if I wanted to, but it would be nice to remove it if I can, but I don't want to make any breakages. We've been playing around with the design, and we like this design with a burgundy border with some triangular grey pieces and then the main patterned tile. And it's a question of whether we alternate these burgundy ones with these square ones. So for example, that would go there, and then another one here, another grey one. Let's see if I can get that without falling over. Yeah. And then in here would be another patterned one, and you carry on. So this could just be a burgundy border with grey, these grey tiles with every other one patterned. But we kind of like these burgundy ones as well, but whether they go with this or not, but it would look quite nice if we could alternate them. But we didn't realise we had these, we'd forgotten about them, these burgundy ones. I'd put all these big pieces in a wheelbarrow in the barn and forgotten, so we thought we only had grey. Anyway, we've still got to play around with that. So we've got enough of these patterned ones, we've got enough of these grey triangular ones. We haven't got enough of these border ones. However, what we do have is these bigger pieces which we can cut down to that size. So we've got everything that we need now. We found these burgundy ones, so we've got to play around with it. But I need to try and remove as much of this concrete as I can, but I don't really want to damage these, especially the burgundy ones, because I haven't got an infinite number. I've got 12. In an ideal world, I might have wanted 18, but I can do with 9, and we can alternate them with 9 of the grey square ones. So we've still got to play around with that. But right now, I need to try and remove this if I can without breaking them. I've got 3 to play with, so as long as I don't break too many, then I'm all right. This one's got a little chip, which happened when I was separating it, but I've got the chip, so I'm not worried about that. I mean, these are, 150, 200 years old, whatever. They're not going to be perfect, and I don't expect them to be, and I don't necessarily want them to be. I want them to look of their age. So a little chip on a corner, a little rough edge somewhere, it's not going to bother us. So I'm going to carry on and see if I can remove these concrete without damaging any more. Then I'll take you upstairs and we'll have a look at the hearth. Not bad. 1 casualty. That's not bad. I need 9. I've got 11. So I've brought you to the tower room, which is just there. Now, I've removed all the bricks from here. If you remember, the bricks were probably up to this level. They've gone, rubble's gone. But I stopped at that point because I wasn't sure what the final base level was going to be because of the stuff on the back of the tiles. Now I know I can get these tiles fairly flush. I can now decide on the base level that the tiles will sit on. And I think what I may do, I've still got to remove this at the back a bit, but that's okay. What I may do is put a cement board, cut its shape, and then dab lots of piles of mortar, and so I can then sit the cement board down, and as long as I've got enough mortar under it, it won't dip in places, and that will give me a nice secure firm base to lay the tiles on. So we're nearly there, but yeah, it's going to look really good. Really happy. And the joists end here. They run this way along the floor, but they end here. What if you imagine this is the fireplace wall, and the joists end here? What then happens is they go down, bigger joists go into the wall, and then this void is all filled with rubble and cement. And I guess the reason for that, if the joist continued all the way to the fireplace, and then you lay a fire on top, the heat can get through to the wood if you're not careful, and therefore, yeah, could be an issue. So I presume, I don't know, I presume that's why they've done this arrangement. But that's an awful lot of weight in there. So by removing all these bricks and putting a cement board down, there'll be a lot less weight than there was before, even with all these tiles. So yeah, it's going to look great. And there's nothing really stopping us doing that over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I'll show you that again. We did want to use this piece because it's complete section. However, there is a little corner missing from this tile, which is a bit annoying. So I may have to separate these and use them individually. Or we could try and hide that right at the very back. But basically, if we take this as the centre point and then lay that somewhere down there, and then we'd work out accordingly in this diagonal pattern. So I think that'll look nice. Right, I've got bags of rubble that are down in the hallway waiting for me to put them somewhere. So I now have a big hole in the ground I can go and put them in. Can feel some rain. Which is not unusual. It's rained virtually every day for the last few months, so a little bit more is not going to hurt. Right. Now I know it's a strange place to put bags of rubble, but then it's a strange place to have a bath. But it's not staying there. Right, next lot. yeah, that bath is definitely going to move very soon. So the reason I've put the rubble in the bath, and if if you didn't watch 2 weeks ago, we've inherited the bath. That's going to become part of Susie's dog grooming room, and it happened to be dumped there, but it's got to go somewhere else because it could be there for months. So I'm going to move that. But the reason I've put the rubble in the bath is because I can't yet dump it in this hole. You saw me last week digging out our 200-year-old cesspit, compost toilet, outdoor loo, whatever you want to call it. And some very kind viewers responded to that and said, do you realise there's all sorts of little artefacts that are often lost in these toilets? Things drop down, beautiful glass, coins, etc. And apparently there's some guy on YouTube goes around digging holes in these places and comes up with all these beautiful pieces of glass. So so Susie said, and let me try and quote her exactly, she said, we ought to get in there and have a dig around for treasure. We being the important word there. I suspect I'm going to end up digging that out. It might be worth something if we can find a little nice ornament coin or glass from 200 years ago. It might be nice, but I'm a little bit skeptical. But you know, we'll give it a go. Whether Susie gets down there and helps me or not, I suspect not. But unfortunately, there's a lot of broken tiles and stuff in the floor, which I wasn't worried about, but they're going to be in my way now. It's about to rain, so I'm not going to do it today, but that's a little job I'll do some point in the very near future. Then I can start dumping rubble and all the rubbish that we've got. There's a load of broken tiles here. Then I can get rid of it. So yeah, so that's that's why it's going in the bath, and that's why the bath is in our wall garden.
We've come down to the bottom of the walled garden to inspect our trees. This is one we put in last year, a Victoria plum, because we had room for another one. We've spaced them approximately 5 metres apart and 5 metres from the wall, just to block out some of these buildings. And the next one we have is, I think it's a conference pear tree. I'm not quite sure, but it's one we put in when we moved in, so it's 3 years old now. We haven't had any fruit from it, but as you can see, it's got lots of blossom this year, so we're hopeful. And on to the next one. This doesn't look very hopeful. This is our winter red, and we had one apple off it. This is dead, but the only bit surviving is the sucker. And apparently you don't get much or very good fruit from the sucker, but we left it because we weren't sure whether this was dead. So we can leave this to see what it does. Then this next tree looks dead, and again what we've got left is a sucker. I think this was a cherry tree, but I'm not, we've lost the list that we wrote. And all these trees are 3 years old, so to replace them now we've got to buy a more established tree, which is a bit annoying. I did place this strategically to block out this building behind me. It's not very sightly. This one's okay. The trees did get attacked by something last year, So I just hope it doesn't do it again this year. We've got this leaf curl thing going on again. I think this is another cherry, but I'm not quite sure. So we'll see. Again, this looks more like a cherry actually, but we're not sure now. But that's doing quite well. The top is dead, so I might have to chop that bit. But that looks okay. This one is sprouting, but again, I don't know what it is now. So we just have to wait and see what fruit we get on it, hopefully, if any. This is definitely an apple. We had some on it, but the fruits weren't very big. But then they're young trees, so yeah, you can see it's doing pretty well. I know the tree in the potager there is a Mirabelle plum because I ate the little plums. They were tiny, so I'm hoping they're going to be bigger this year. So overall, we're very happy, but I think we're going to have to buy 2 more. Just looking at the vine, and it started sprouting, but I didn't cut it back, so I need to tidy it up a bit.
Yeah.
So
should do okay again.
Thanks everyone again for coffees this week and all your support.
Yeah,
everybody, patrons, and our new subscribers.
New subscribers, numbers are going up.
Yeah, it's creeping up gradually, isn't it?
We're getting quite a few comments on old vlogs and some people saying they're binge watching, so good luck with that. And thank you.
Yeah, I think the sound's improved since the beginning.
Yeah, when you get to episode 150, it should get better.
it was quiet before.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, and we shall see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.